Happy Thursday. You're almost there, folks. Hang in there. Stay strong. Friday is less than 24 hours away if you're watching this live. Maybe you're watching this on a Friday. Great to see you, folks. This won't be a long episode. I know I say that often, and we end up going over an hour. But today, I mean it because the Hall of Famer is joining me in just a second. Rick Barry. And when it comes to basketball, when it comes to the Warriors, there just is not a lot to discuss. Literally, we're 17 days away from training camp. The Warriors have 9 players on their roster. But if you want to know one of the all-time greats' perspective on this mess, let's hear from Rick. Let's have a good time. I hope Rick's going to join us in just a second. Glad you're joining the party. This is the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Woo! Let's go!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Down lower to have you and like talk and take on thing on how what is up. Hello and welcome to the Golden Days. I am your host for the afternoon, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild. It's just one word, 7 letters. You can also follow me on Twitter at Surf Journalist, the program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Before we get into it and bring the Hall of Famer Rick Barry on the program, one of the NBA's top 50 all-time players, I say top 15. And if you have any clue about his dominance, about his skill set, about his greatness, you would understand the sentiment. See, this is where I love the audience. Dylan Verano putting me in check saying, dude, you sound like shit. He didn't actually say that. He just said my mic's on. Reminder. I hope my mic's on now, and I hope I sound better. I'm grateful for you because I don't know if Rick would have said anything, so thank you for that. Andre FRBK in the chat writing, I can't even hear the name Kuminga anymore. I'm tired, Cy. Welcome to how we're all feeling, dude. This is just an absolute mess. Another day's going by without any updates in regards to the Golden State Warriors as a team. Another day where we can't just talk hoops. We're just mired in nothingness. That's why I love the guests that we bring on this program. They at least provide an awesome distraction from the present day scenario that is the Golden State Warriors. And Rick and I hopefully will have a good time. And again, we're just awaiting his appearance. And while we do that, gives me an opportunity to give some love to our sponsors. And first up, of course, I really hope, and Dylan, thank you again. I really do appreciate that because you didn't just save me, you saved the audience with the audio quality. Thank you for that again. Just a dumb stoner move on my part to sometimes just switch that simple button and get my mic going. My apologies. Today's episode brought to you real quick here by the folks sponsoring our program. First up, a cover band, a band that by now, if you're a Golden Dazer, I'm guessing you're familiar with them because I literally mention them either at the beginning or in the early parts of every episode. That's the love you get if you sponsor us. And side note, we don't have our inventory full yet for the season. Part of it is this Warriors offseason and the nothingness that's attached to it. It's not enticing when you approach businesses and say, how do you feel about sponsoring a program, one of the most viewed, possibly the most viewed and listened to program covering the Golden State Warriors? Those metrics, we're always up there, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you. And when you approach a client and say, hey, do you want to sponsor a show that we have a good time? We're authentic, we're accurate, right? That's number one that we strive for. And why don't you come join the party? And literally on more than one occasion, the response has been, are they doing anything, the Warriors? Has basketball started yet? It starts in 17 days, at least in terms of training camp, media day, things being official. And the Warriors haven't done jack, which is why we're so grateful for decades and why we're so grateful for what they do. And that's produce live music. You need that in the world that we live in today. It's batshit crazy out there, folks. We need escapes. You need to have a good time. You need to remember what puts this smile on your face. And Decades does that for you. They're awesome. They're phenomenal. They are a cover band that plays everything from the 50s to today, from Chuck Berry to Katy Perry. They're NorCal natives, if that means something to you. They're from the Chico area originally, but they have long-standing roots in Northern California in the music scene and the sports scene. They have stories. Their drummer, Billy DeBono, is going to join me soon as a co-host for a show, another perk of being a sponsor of this program. Again, side note, if you're interested, because things will ramp up one way or another, Jonathan Kuminga or not, the Warriors will have to field a team and get this ship rolling, and the content is going to match that. We're thankfully still incredibly getting views and downloads during this nothingness that we're all experiencing. If you're emotionally invested in the Golden State Warriors, so email us warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, warriors24pod@gmail.com if you want to reach out to us and express interest in a sponsorship. So again, you can get the kind of love that Decades gets from us, and it is reciprocal. Decades, thank you tremendously for the support. In addition to the fact that they're available for free before every Niners game next door to Levi Stadium, they're playing live sets at Red Zone rallies at Great America. And they could also be playing your event, whether it's a personal shindig, like a wedding, an anniversary, a birthday, maybe just a good old-fashioned backyard rager, in which case, if you do that, reach out to your Uncle Cy. I'm there. I'm coming. I am committed to being a part of your rager if you send out that invite. It also just might be a corporate event like the Catalina Wine Mixer, where you need some music to seal the deal, to make your clients happy. That's the goal, right? The pursuit of happiness, right there in our Declaration of Independence. It is the ethos of humanity, and Decades is massive in terms of making your life just better. Why not hire them and thank me later if you do so? Again, go to decadesofficial.com. Decadesofficial.com is the website. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Decades Official. And if you want to go straight to the source and avoid the contact page at decadesofficial.com to reach out to them, email Kyle@atomicmusicgroup.com. Again, Kyle@atomicmusicgroup.com. Book Decades and thank me later. I am confident that you will. Today's episode also brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Golden Days and the Believe Network, which we're proudly a part of. And tonight is the season finale. We're recording this on a Thursday. Real easy. What is up now, by the way? Bruce Morrow saying batshit crazy, referring to the Warriors offseason and the complete inactivity is an understatement. Yeah, you're right there. Absolutely. Traveling Urquidez, hello, right back at you. We have an audience. Traveling Urquidez coming in with some sad news. I don't like that. Saying both of your MJ plants died today. Oof. Were they outdoor? Were they indoor? Like, what's the story there? And side note, I have a hornet right there next to me. So if you see me reacting in a funny manner, those sons of bitches sometimes get in my house. One time I was sitting on my couch. It's right there. And I was sitting on my couch one time. All of a sudden, I feel a sting in the back of my neck. I'm like, what the hell was that? What just happened? And this hornet just showed up and stung me in the neck. They're sons of bitches like that. And there's one right there. So if you see me react in a funny manner during the show, it's because I have a hornet messing with me. I have a funky relationship with those critters. Anyways, sorry, Traveling Urquidez, about your trees. My condolences. Sad day. Do I have sad music to give to Traveling Urquidez? Because that is not. And we got a boo. Yeah, that's a good reaction to the MJ plants dying on you. I don't think that's funny at all. It's terrible. It's a travesty. I don't have any other good clips to here, Moses Moody agrees with you.
I mean, it sucks.
It does, yeah. You don't want your trees to die. So my sincerest condolences again to you, Urquidez, for the devastating news. And we got the Hall of Famer. I'm going to let him set up real fast. He's going to join me in just a second here. But tonight, the Golden State Valkyries are finishing up their season as we wrap up the FanDuel plug here by taking on the top-seeded Minnesota Lynx in Minnesota. The game carries a lot of relevancy because the Valkyries don't have their final playoff position settled. They're currently the 7th seed. They have a half-game lead over the Seattle Storm. The Seattle Storm, to the best of my knowledge, own the tiebreaker. So if the Valkyries lose tonight and finish in a tie with the Storm will surpass them in the standings, and Golden State might have to play Minnesota in the first round of the playoffs instead of a team like the Atlanta Dream,
which would be the most ideal matchup for them in the first round. Currently, Atlanta's the 2 seed, Golden State is the 7 seed, and tonight, Valkyries Lynx, you can bet on that. The Lynx are favored by 7 points. The Valkyries, if you feel good about them to win tonight, plus 235 is your money line. And let's bring the Hall of Famer on the program. Rick, I asked the network, Believe, to make a graphic that also has your name underneath it, and they immediately adhered. So now your name is formally, you got a nice little nameplate right under you. You can follow the Hall of Famer on all social media platforms at Rick24Berry. Always a pleasure, sir. How the hell are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while. Hope life is treating you well. I'm doing good. Yeah, had another bicycle accident. Thank God I didn't break anything, but it took me 3 weeks. I was off the pickleball court, so that kind of sucked. But other than that, it was God's wake-up call for me to say, "What the hell are you doing at your age, getting on a freaking on a mountain bike path on a single track thing? You got to be out of your mind." So anyway, I'm done with that shit. So
We're going to keep things short and sweet here, but real fast, Rick. This is the second spill you've had in approximately 10 years, give or take.
Yeah.
And I love mountain bike riding. I've never eaten shit though, not since I was a kid. What's going on there? Like, are you hitting just bumps? Like, are you flying over the rails? Like the handlebars? What's going on?
No, the first one, that was the one where I fractured my pelvis in 6 places. I was in a wheelchair for 3 months. I don't. Why is that doing all of that?
I don't know what that is, but it's a funky sound. It's like a creature.
Yeah, I'll take it off of my laptop.
It's like a frog.
So anyway,
okay, yep.
yeah. So and so that one, my front tire blew out, and I was going around a curve, and I was locked in, and I couldn't get my right leg out, my right foot out of the pedal lock, and
it was stuck.
And
okay.
so I came straight down on and then fractured my pelvis in 6 places, wheelchair for freaking 3 months, and I was so lucky. The doctor said, "Rick, you're so lucky, because if you had the bones of a man your age, you would be in a wheelchair the rest of your life. I never could have operated on you. I have so many pins and rods and screws in me, it's ridiculous. But fortunately, I can do all kinds of stuff. I don't ring at the airport, which is amazing. And then this one, I was just coming down it, but I shouldn't have been on it, because some of these paths, they have some roots sometimes, some rocks, and you got to be careful. I was doing good, and I came around a curve, and all of a sudden I get a little hole, and it was just soft sand. So my front wheel just buried in the sand. I had no chance. So it wasn't anything that I had done incorrectly. I was doing really great. And, but thank God I just bruised my ribs and hurt my bad knee. I bruised that. And, it took me 3 weeks before I could get back on the pickleball court. But thank God I'm back out there again. So anyway, everything's good. But let's talk about more exciting things. People have hope everybody's had a good summer. This Kuminga thing has been just unbelievable. You talk about a soap opera. Oh my God. And the Valkyries, I hear you talk about them. Congratulations to them. They've had one of the most successful new teams in the league as an expansion team, and they're doing a great job and getting great fan support. So I'm happy for them and for the Warriors, and hopefully they'll come away with a victory in their game today to keep themselves in that 7th position.
And exactly right, sir. And the Valkyries, the first team in WNBA history to make the playoffs in their expansion season. The playoffs, I believe, are next week, and the home game is going to be in San Jose. Kind of a disappointment, but the Labor Cup, side note, coming to San Francisco at Chase Center. Do you play tennis? Are you a tennis player? You play pickleball?
I used to play tennis a lot, but I'm a pickleball guy now. Tennis is just too hard on my body.
Fair. That's very fair.
Hit the serve, and especially playing singles with that big Al court, trying to cover a big court. So and it was just beating me up too much, and so thank God I got into pickleball, and I love pickleball. Getting ready for 3 big tournaments coming up starting next month.
Ooh, you're back in competition. Well, we're talking Warriors here. Brooklyn Opinion dropping a $4.99 contribution in the chat. Thank you very much for that in advance writing. Rick, do you remember Warriors fans being in New York City when you were balling out? And who was your favorite coach to play for, and why? Signed #DubNationBrooklyn. Your thoughts, sir?
I remember fans all the time in New York or in other cities. I mean, if you got fans and they live in different places, certainly they're there. What I remember most about New York is the fans. Hey, Rick, how you feeling today? Because they used to bet. Gambling wasn't legal back then, okay? And I know we have some good sponsors for gambling, which is kind of cool. David Stern's probably rolling over in his grave, the former commissioner. But they, because they were all betting. The guys told me, said, Rick, we bet how many points you get in each quarter. I mean, so they're always, and I said, hey, how I feel doesn't matter. How I play is what counts. I said I felt great and played like garbage. I felt garbage and played like great. You just don't know. You just have to be consistent. I always remember my ex-coach from the University of Miami was my father-in-law, Bruce Hale, who's a former pro player and taught me so much about the game and helped me. I mean, that was like being in the minor leagues when I was in college to get ready for the pros. He said, you're going to have at least 8 games out of that schedule where things just aren't going well for you. When you have to be able to make sure you contribute. If the shooting's not going well, stop taking the outside shots, drive to the basket, go get some offensive rebounds, make some assists, play better defense, get more rebounds. But you have to justify your being out in the court. You know, when you're sucking it up offensively, you got to find something else to do to justify being out there. And so I always remember that. And that's what I tried to do. I had very rarely did I have a lot of games where I didn't contribute a lot offensively. I mean, in my career, I don't think very few games that I ever have when I didn't score double digits in points, and probably not a whole hell of a lot when I didn't score at least 20 or more. So, there was good reason to keep me out in the court for that, that part of it. But I understood team defense. I thought I was a good defensive player because a guy wasn't going to beat me with what he likes doing. If he's going to beat me, he's going to have to beat me with what he didn't do that well. So I really did take pride in that. Anybody that said I wasn't a good defensive player doesn't know their butt from a hole in the ground. I mean, I was a good defensive player, especially team defense, and I was a good rebounder. I mean, not a great rebounder, but in college, I had a lot of rebounds in college, and I averaged double figures in my rookie year. I had 25 points and double 10 rebounds a game. And so, I took pride in my whole game. So anyway, yeah, that's the answer to that question. And then, so I think I took care of that. My favorite coach, I enjoyed playing for most of my coaches. I would have to say, Al was great to play for without question. I mean, because he could relate as a former player, and I had a lot of respect for him. Obviously, he was my roommate when I first came into the pros. But my favorite coach, other than in the pros, without question was Lou Carnesecca. Lou Carnesecca was he was great. We lost him last year at 99 years old, and just a great guy. And he didn't have a huge ego coming from college. He really would ask Billy Melchione and Johnny Rocha and myself. He would ask us about what we thought about this, that, and the other thing to try to get a feel for what we thought. Now, he didn't do everything we recommended, but he did listen to a lot of the stuff that we said. He was just a great, great guy. And I really enjoyed him tremendously, without question.
When we had when we interviewed Chris Mullen a few years back, like Mullen was just raving about. First of all, I loved how respectful he was. He was borderline like just a fan of yours, and I get it. But yeah, he mentioned that similarly that head coach as well.
Because he played for the St. John's, right? Yeah, at St. John's he was his coach at St. John's.
Yeah.
And
so and we're always graced, first of all, to have your presence here. Is Sean in the chat from Walnut Creek? He joins our program regularly. Mentioned a moment ago he has 110 mile per hour serve. Bravo, that's damn impressive. Writing, and he wrote this break before you joined me, saying, "What do you have to see from the Warriors in order to consider them a contender?" My answer is very simple. Just sign everybody that's expected, meaning DeAnthony Melton, first of all, we covered this a few days ago, Rick, seems to be all but locked in because he's now advertising his allegiance, his affiliation with the Warriors on social media. But look, a happy Kuminga, you add a Seth Curry, you add a Al Horford. If this goes according to plan, I think they're contenders. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think if everything falls into place, I mean, we don't know. I mean, until you get everybody in place, and then it's all speculation. Then it's all a matter of, how well is the guy going to play that season? How lucky you're going to be injury wise? I mean, there's just a lot of factors that come into play. But certainly on paper, if everything falls into place like it sees right now, but we don't know for sure what that's going to be. It's not locked in. I mean, I've heard that they had supposedly an agreement depending upon what happens with Kuminga, because I don't think they wanted to lock those guys into a contract, because if Kuminga gets traded and leaves, they'll have more money and they could pay those guys a little bit more, so they didn't want to lock them in. So we'll just have to wait and see. But there's no question that they'll be a competitive team, especially if Steph stays healthy and Jimmy plays the way he played when he joined the team at the end, because they were the best team in the league at the end of the season, the way that they were playing.
Correct. Easy to forget
and
that.
They didn't have, and they've got Horford, who gives them offense, because when they there was a lot of times when they didn't have to guard anybody at the center position. When Looney, as much as he was an important part of the team for years, and certainly we appreciate what he did, he's a liability offensively, but Horford can go out and knock down 3-point shots, and that
Yes,
spreads
sir.
the floor out. So that's going to make things a lot nicer for everybody else.
And I said this the other day, and I'll repeat it happily because I think it's worth mentioning. You have a lot of young players on the Warriors who I think the team and fans and everyone else is expecting growth, right? That's part of what maybe it's an unfair expectation, but it's the expectation nonetheless.
No, it's not unfair. I'm going to interrupt you. It's not unfair. You're right. But it's not an unfair expectation.
Okay.
You're supposed to get better.
I was trying to be nice, but I will.
Yeah, you got to get better. I mean,
I'll roll with you. No, I agree.
Well, that's the thing I think that's disappointed the Warriors is that Kuminga hasn't made the strides that they think he should have been able to make. Has he gotten better? Yes, he has. We've talked about this when he first came in the league. He needs to work on certain things, and those things haven't come along as quickly as they like. Now, last year, it was tough for him because he didn't get the minutes either. So it's hard to go and get improvement when you're sitting on the bench watching. You can't get better sitting and watching. You got to play.
Rick, in his draft class, he's 18th in minutes per game. That's the stat I keep looking at going, yeah. I can understand his perspective in terms of the frustration. But Rick, the young players on this team, and there's a lot of them, Kuminga, Pajemski, Moody, Quentin Post, we could see a nice leap from him. Guy Santos, Trace Jackson-Davis off the bench as a backup big. I like him. There's a lot of young pieces here that I'm expecting growth from, and they could contribute substantially. Would you agree with that?
Yes, no, for sure. And it's going to be, what is their growth going to be offensively? Can they be a consistent player so that Steve can rely on a guy night after night to know what you're going to get from somebody? The hardest thing in the world as a coach is to put a guy in that you say, well, shit, I hope he plays well tonight. I mean, you want a guy that you put in there, you feel he's going to play well most of the time. And then you have the luxury of having depth so that, hey, that's what we had. If a guy wasn't going good, hey, ow, boom, another guy's coming in right away. And that's what you have to have. But the biggest thing is that the team has to collectively make a 100% commitment to being a tough defensive team. And if you get some guys who are good individually, that's a bonus. But team-wise, they have to focus. That has to be their number one priority because that will keep them in the games when they do struggle some offensively. So that's going to be a critical element. And then, of course, we talked about it before with the success that the Warriors had over the last decade or so. You got to get a bench that can come in and hold the fort. I like to say hold the fort. Come in and don't lose a lead if you have a lead. And in fact, sometimes even increase it. And sometimes, even to the point if you're not doing well, come in and help you get you back to even again. The consistency of your bench and the defense of the team is going to be the critical factor for this club moving forward.
Shifting gears here, Kevin, the chat brings up Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard. I'm sure you followed this in the news as well. Do you have an opinion on it? Because it's potentially ugly. Still a lot of information to come out, though.
I haven't heard. What's the problem with them?
Oh, I'm shocked. Rick, are you serious? Like you have not?
No, I've been gone. I've been away. I've been doing stuff. I've been hurt. I mean,
you're busy. You're a busy man. I get it.
So I'm not broadcasting where I have to stay on top of the thing all the time and find out what's going on.
I'm actually excited about this. I can actually share this news with you and get your thoughts in real time. All right, so Steve. So basically, an individual. I don't think he works with ESPN anymore, but he's been with them for a long time. His name is Pablo Torres. He sometimes fills in with PTI, pardon the interruption, as a co-host. And I don't know I think he's independent now. It doesn't matter. He reported something recently about a week ago that Kawhi Leonard had a $28 million endorsement deal with this company called, I believe, Aspiration.
Okay, I did read about that.
Okay.
So I mean, it was nothing. I didn't hear much more about it. I didn't say they don't know if it was true or whatever. They were going to investigate to see if they were trying to circumvent the salary cap by giving him a deal with a company that supposedly Bomber was involved with. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, well, it's kind of clever on their part if they could pull it off. But here's the thing, and I think I remember reading that Mark Cuban said, it's hard for me to believe that Steve Ballmer would be foolish enough and dumb enough to do something like that to jeopardize his team by trying to pull something like that off.
And the investigation continues. Adam Silver did say there's an investigation. The last time a team got busted for circumventing the salary cap, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think it was like 2000 or 2001, and they lost 5 first-round picks. Now, this was David Stern. We have a different leadership on board now. Who knows what's going to happen, if anything? But it is riveting stuff because
Well,
I've been
here's the
saying,
thing. What
yeah.
here's the deal. He's got enough money to pay the extra money if you go exceed the salary cap, right? So that's going to be a lot better than losing draft picks and everything. So if you really wanted to do it, you were that desperate about wanting to do it. So okay, so you pay him the money and you pay the extra money you got to pay for the fines for going over the cap, but you don't screw the team up by losing all your draft picks.
I hope they lose their draft picks because the Clippers are in the same division as the Warriors, and any opponent of the Warriors that suffers is good news for this program. I know I'm being very malicious saying that, and I don't care. But nonetheless, that's what's going on there. And that leads to a bigger question, Rick, a bit of an existential question pertaining to the NBA. I'm personally done with the salary cap in general. I think we'd all be better off if that rule went away. I feel like it serves just one purpose at this point, and that's to prevent owners from spending more than they want to. It serves the cheap owners best. And these owners have so much money. There's so many billionaires in the world now that if one of these owners can't keep up, you can sell your team. Sell it to someone who will spend. My point is, people love espousing capitalism, the free market, until it hurts them, and then they scream regulation. Get rid of the salary cap. Your thoughts, sir? Scrap the cap is my slogan.
Well, you're talking to the wrong person about that. Who left the Warriors over $10,000.
Maybe I'm talking to the right person.
No, I left over $10,000. Had nothing to do with salary cap. He didn't pay that kind of money. I never heard the word $1 million in my contract negotiations. So many of these players are so overpaid, and the owners have nobody but themselves to blame for spending that kind of money and paying that much money to players who really don't have that kind of value. So, they created the monster, and now the monster's turning around and it's, trying to attack them. And, I mean, but that's lays into their lap. I mean, it went from did a 180. The owners took advantage of the players. Back when I played, they were the ones that held all the cards. They were the ones that controlled everything. I think the NBA is still mad at me because I was the one that challenged the reserve clause and changed everything, because now all of a sudden players had the right to go someplace else, and so they had to start paying some more money. So I wish the hell I had gotten a little piece of everybody's contract for doing that.
I don't know,
but anyway, that's a whole nother story. But so yeah, they created the problem themselves. They really did. And
yes,
but here's the deal. But the players have to take some responsibility themselves. They have a pretty damn good deal. What business do you know of in the real world gives as much of a percentage of the earnings that they generate back to their employees?
Look, that's a fair counterpoint, right? Is that, we could have a debate about whether or not the players are making plenty. All I'm saying is, if someone's willing to pay someone, let's say Stephen Curry has an offer from the New York Knicks at the age of 40 to make $200 million, who is anyone to say no, right? Like I'm just saying, get rid of the rules. If someone's willing to pay it, like Kev F in the chat, for example, is saying, not every owner is as rich as Steve Ballmer. You don't have to be that wealthy to own a team. Being a billionaire, I think people are losing grasp of just how much money that is. It's a fortune and times 1,000. Like, it's so much money that you can give Steph $200 million and still be fine. All I'm saying is, get rid of the rules. There's too many rules. I don't think it's helping the game in any regard. Did you hear Adam Silver's comments, by the way, about fans who can't afford to pay to watch the games themselves, and whether or not people who watch games live, they're losing the incentive to go to games because they can just watch at home? And his response to that was, we're a highlights league. And he really diminished it and said it's not an issue. Do you agree with that sentiment, that who cares is basically what he's telling the fans in terms of cost? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, again, nobody's holding a gun to the fans' head about wanting to go. So, I mean,
right.
If you're a fan and you can afford to do it, I mean, that's what they're counting on. That's extra revenue for the owners. They make all their money off the TV stuff. I mean, but to be perfectly honest, I don't know how some of the people can afford to go to the games with a family of four. I mean, the prices are outrageous. I mean, and even to the point of, just getting a soft drink or whatever the hell it is, and forget a beer or something. Oh my God, you got to mortgage the house to go to the game. And people do. A lot of people save up to, go one time as the big deal. I mean, so they're very fortunate in that regard, and but it is what it is. I mean, that's the way the economy works. That's the way life works, and you have the choice to either pay the money or not pay the money. But thank God for television. I mean, the Warriors in the league changed because of television, the cable television, and all of the deals that they're getting. I wish the hell they had it back when I was playing. I mean,
I know. It's crazy, man. I heard that I was listening to this interview with Charles Barkley the other day, and even he, in his early years of his career, was experiencing the middle class lifestyle that you unfortunately were accustomed to. Coach seats on planes, like just all the luxuries that players enjoy today. This was not in existence not that long ago. It is crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, they went not only from that, they went to all of a sudden at my last part of it, they had first class to travel, but that was commercial. Now they have charter flights.
So
it's even crazier. And the per diem went up a little bit. I mean, my first per diem is $8 a day.
What is it now? Like 1,000?
No, they're getting I don't know, 150 or some crazy number
a day.
Yeah, for their per diem, but also when they go on the charter flights afterward, they have catered food on there, so they're not spending their money for the food that's on the planes when they travel on charters. And
I think Rick,
you stay in 4-star hotels and boutique hotels. I mean, we stayed in rat holes. I mean, it was ridiculous.
that $150 per diem per day. I think Rick, you just shed light on where players are getting the cash from for all those poker games.
No, that's not enough. That's not enough for what they play for. I know what some of those guys play for. They play for it's thousands of dollars that they're playing for. I mean, I guarantee you, there's guys during the course of the season lose as much money playing poker or playing whatever games they're playing than I made in the whole season playing.
Were you a gambling man? Like, did you participate in games?
We would play. We would play some games. I mean, I'd like to play. I'd like to play, but not for a lot of money. I remember Rusty Critchfield, who went to US.
Oh, we just lost Rick there for a second. Hope to get him. He's back. You're back. Okay.
He was beat. Somebody was calling me. He won $50 from me when we were playing gin, and so I waited until we were leaving on a road trip on a Friday, and so I bought to pay him off. I had $50 in pennies that I gave him. I said, "Here's the $50 I owe you." Now the thing is, I said, "You either take it or we're even," because he had do you know how heavy 50 pounds of pennies are? I mean, $50 worth of pennies.
There's that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer is like lugging a whole thing of pennies, and that did not look comfortable, and it pissed off the.
Yeah, I gave him $50 worth of pennies to have to carry for the weekend because he wouldn't be able to do anything with it until Monday. So stuff like that.
Good prank. That's a good prank. I like that. What is your game of choice? Poker?
No, gin. I love to play gin.
Gin. Oh, there you go. I never played gin for money. That's fascinating.
Gin, and then we played some other card games, Boo-Ray and other things and all. It wasn't as much of the poker and stuff as they have now, especially with, Texas Hold'em stuff is like a big thing, I guess. But
huge.
It was fun to do that. I mean, I'm not a big gambler. I want to have control of my money, and gambling it's gambling. You're gambling. I mean,
literally.
It's not like winning. It's gambling. That's why I call it gambling.
Yeah, there's a lot of gambling in life, period. Right?
Fishing is fishing. That's why I had to find places to go where it was actually more catching than it was fishing.
I feel like every decision we make in some regard is a gamble. Who you pick as your wife, huge gamble. You can make or break your entire life.
Especially if somebody's religious and then you can't live together before you actually get married. Because trust me, if you don't live with a person, you don't know a person until you live with them.
You got that right.
I'm serious.
Yes.
I can't believe that was the way that religion did that. I mean, oh my God, and especially when it comes to the intimate part of it. I mean, you got to pray and hope that you actually have a sexual relationship that actually means something to both of you, and you're married and you're hoping that it works. I mean, my God, you want to talk about a gamble.
And then there's the flip side of that, which is you still have cultures in this world, incredibly, who arrange their marriages. Yes. Yeah. And to me, the most fascinating part of that is they're the happiest people in this world. Like those people, when you look at the happiness index surveys and otherwise, they're content. And all the people have the freedom to choose their partners. We're all the unhappy ones for the most part. I mean, I know there's happy couples. You're happily married, sir. But
but it took me a while to get to that point. But anyway, it's life is interesting, and
it is. Before I let you go, sir, I know you got to run. And we promised a short show, but look, it's been over 50 years now since you won a title. You and I have been talking about this documentary that's hopefully coming out soon for years. Is there any update? And please stop me if I'm annoying you bringing this question up. But
I'm hoping that it's going to happen sometime in the fall. That it'll come out.
Oh, good. Okay,
it'll come out sometime in the fall.
Yes.
And it'd be kind of foolish not to have it come out at least in the 50th year since it happened. First of all, it's insane that it's taken 50 years to tell a story of the team that had the greatest upset, not only in the history of the league, but in pro sports in this country. I defy anyone to find any team that was as ill thought of as we were and find some other team. They talked about the Miracle Mets. No. They talked about the Jets in the Super Bowl. No. The Jets were picked to be a great team, be really the best teams in the AFL. We were nobody. Nobody paid any attention to us. Nobody gave us a chance in hell. And in the finals of the major sports in this country, there's never been as big an upset as what our team pulled off. And I can't wait. I've heard it's really a good job that was done, and that my teammates are going to get the recognition that they deserve for being such a part of the championship.
And you deserve that too, clearly.
No, I was lucky. I got the MVP and stuff, but the team was just disrespected, and we had a lot of great guys, and it's great when I see my teammates, and hopefully they'll have us all in there, and they'll have a big deal for the premiere of the.
I hope so too. Bruce Morrow in the chat's asking, your upset was bigger than the Mavericks over the Heat in 2011?
Hell yes.
All right, there you go. Were
the Mavericks picked to be a team that wasn't supposed to be a playoff team?
That's an added perspective that's needed. I didn't even know that. You guys weren't even picked to make the postseason.
Nobody even picked us to make the playoffs.
The only comp I could think of, and Rick, I'd love to know your answer to this, in terms of biggest upsets ever, would be the Miracle on Ice in '80. Where do you compare to that with your Warriors?
That was a great accomplishment on their part. I said the three major professional sports.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so maybe if there is something on par with your accomplishment, it would be outside of the three major sports.
Yes.
And even then, I'm guessing you probably have a good argument.
I'm counting hockey, football, baseball, basketball, hockey.
I love it. There you go. So, and Bruce, I hope that answered your question. And AC bringing up an important fact that the Mavericks were first a year ago. The Mavericks had a great team, had a great run during that span. So I'm looking forward to that, sir. And I hope it comes to fruition sooner than later. Anything you'd like to promote before we go? I know you always have your fingers.
I'll go to, I have a new site that I'm going to have coming out, Rick24Barry.com. I'm going to have that coming out, but I'll give it to you at the time when it happens.
Okay.
People can just check things out and go to medicilleaf.com, medicilleaf.com. That's great cannabinoid products. And to GoSleeves.com would be the two biggest ones. And I do have a new thing that I'm putting together that next time we talk, I'll pass that along to you. And I just hope everybody had a great summer, and everybody's family's doing well health-wise. And
same with you, sir. I'm glad you're better. You again. I'm grateful that you're taking a step back on the mountain biking, because twice in 10 plus years is a little concerning, sir. So I'm glad you're okay. Yeah. Thank you as always for joining our show. Rick24Barry is the order that people need to remember, because it's going to be your website. It's your handle on all social media platforms. Any fishing this summer before you go? Did you get a chance to explore? And
no, I did the trip to the South Island. I talked about that, to New Zealand, which was great early in January. And I may be going back to the Amazon jungle next January as well. And then I'm hoping to go to Argentina to do not peacock bass, but golden dorado fishing. So we'll see.
Wow.
We'll see what happens with that. And hoping I can play well and win some more gold medals in the upcoming 3 big pickleball tournaments coming up in October, November, and December.
Looking forward to that. And the Professor Armando Laura joins us tomorrow at 3 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Rick, I can't thank you enough. Anytime you take time out to join us.
Always great to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you.
Go
Always
Warriors.
fantastic. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.